So why your heart rate isn't lowering? Probably because you're not adding in enough volume. Now, yes, I understand that zone two is good, but it's also a myth, or is it? There's a lot of things that we could do based off of the runner, and I'm going to give you the tips and tricks after the 5 years that I've been training for 2 full Ironmans, 22 marathons, 650 milers, and now I have a very low heart rate. So if you're struggling, drop a comment. I will respond to all comments. I'm also going to talk about what certain workouts are in terms of negatives, tempos, progressions, and which ones are my favorite, and which ones I've seen a significant increase with not only my performance, but heart rate. So let's dive into it. So before anything, just got back from a 110-mile week. We did 18 miles in Central Park yesterday, a little bit hot and humid. Heart rate was high. That was a progression run. And then today we went on the West Side Highway. It's very flat. We did 15 miles, negative split, very low heart rate. So now let's talk about volume and why it's better than zone two. So volume is king because it gives you stress. Zone 1 to zone 2 doesn't always give you the stress. It is now used for me as a maintenance tool. Zone 1 to zone 2 is a tool for either base building or maintenance. So when it comes to your runs, maybe you haven't seen any type of progression because you're not adding in enough stimulus. Volume allows us to add the stimulus not only within our heart, but within our muscles, our tendons, and to have more of a load, thus helping us in the long term of a race when it comes to marathon or ultras. When it comes to volume, it gives us a better stroke volume, better oxygen delivery, better capillary density, thus leading to a better heart rate and a stronger heart rate overall. Now, if we want to get faster, I saw no significant increase sitting in zone 1 to zone 2. All of these zone 2s make us faster. I don't believe in it, nor do I see it. Now, I practice what I preach. I do 110-mile weeks. 70% of my volume is my tempo runs because I found my sweet spot. Now, every single runner needs to find their sweet spot of what feels good, what they can balance without stressing their central nervous system, and what gives them the stimulus and the push for them to progressively overload in a very safe way with volume each week and every different workout. So now when it comes to stimulus, if we don't increase volume, the way that we can also train our heart rate and stuff is by doing certain workouts. We get faster by doing hill repeats or track repeats, right? We don't get faster by sitting in zone 1 and doing a 10-minute pace and expecting to run at a 6-minute pace. So the way that we can train our heart rate is with tempos, negative splits, progressions, long runs, that kind of thing. My favorite workout is the negative split that I've seen a huge increase over the last 3 months, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. When we do a negative split, for those that don't know, let's just say we're running a marathon. The first half is 13 miles at a 7:30 pace. The second half is 13 miles at a 6-minute pace. That is what we call a negative split. This teaches our body cardiac drift. So our heart rate starts low and then stays a little bit low as we increase our speed. It helps with lactate buffer, right? It doesn't create lactate automatically from the start, as in if a lot of runners go out too fast. Thus, when we have better lactate clearance, our body cannot get fatigue, or it will fatigue at a later point in the race, thus giving us better stamina and endurance. And then from there, energy storage. For example, you're not depleting your glycogen stores when you go out so hot in the first half of a marathon and you're saving it for the second half. It teaches us so much. And when it comes to my heart rate, I've seen a massive increase, not only with that, but with lactate. So the negative split is my favorite run, and I do it after a long run on Saturday because I already am a little bit glycogen depleted and I'm already coming off of quote unquote tired legs. However, because I've done so much volume, my legs are not sore and they can mimic the second half of an ultra, because that is my goal right now, to train for an ultra. But a lot of marathon runners can put this in to their actual workouts on Saturday and Sunday, and they will see a massive increase in performance, heart rate, and everything that your body does internally, from blood flow to lactate to obviously using energy. So zone 1 works, zone 2 works, zone 3 works. You have to find out what works for you. I'm not saying don't do zone 1 to zone 2, but I'm saying go against the grain a little bit if you don't see results and go to zone 3. And then, of course, add in your volume. And then when you add in your volume, make sure that you add in your workouts. Adding all 3 of those together is going to be a spicy formula for you getting a lower heart rate way more effectively than somebody that's just training 50 miles 80, 90% of the time in zone 1 and expecting to get faster. I promise you, with 3-4 months of that, you're going to excel, not only with your running form, your running economy, and your aerobic engine. So drop a comment. I'm curious to see what people think. I know a lot of people are not with zone 1 to zone 2, and I know a lot of people that say, Justin, you're dumb. I need my zone 1 to zone 2s, or 80% of elite athletes train that way. Yes, they train that way, but not every elite athlete trains that way. Running is an individual sport and an individual stimulus that a lot of people need, and this is what works for me. So again, practicing what I preach. I hope you guys took away something. Drop a comment. I will answer all comments. And again, let's get after it.